Welcome to Mr. Dark Mysteries, the dark corner of YouTube where secrets and unsolved cases come to life. Here, we delve into the world of enigmas, cold murders, and true crimes. We sift through old cold cases and the latest investigations, leaving no detail unexplored. Get ready for a journey through the dark sides of our world, where secrets wait to be uncovered. Subscribe now and join us in revealing the secrets lurking in the darkness. And don't miss a moment of this journey through the shadows. We immerse ourselves in one of the most puzzling cases Norway has ever known, the case of the Isdal Woman. Join us as we attempt to lift the veils of mystery. In November 1970, in a remote valley in Bergen, Norway, known as Isdalen or Ice Valley, the burned body of a woman was found. This mystery, which has fascinated detectives, amateur sleuths, and the public for decades, is known for its strange details and the many unanswered questions. The beginning of the mystery. In the late autumn of 1970, against the backdrop of the Cold War and the beautiful yet ominous Norwegian landscapes, the mystery of the Isdal Woman began to unfold. This tale, woven from fragments of evidence and snippets of testimonies, tells of a woman whose life and death are as mysterious as they are fascinating. The woman who would later be known as the Isdal Woman appeared in various cities across Norway. Her presence marked by a series of enigmatic behaviors and the echoes of an unknown past. She moved with the precision of someone accustomed to living in the shadows, carefully concealing her tracks with the help of false identities and cryptic messages. Her journey started weeks before her tragic end, when she was seen in the vibrant streets of Bergen, a city known for its picturesque houses and maritime history. She checked into various hotels, each time under a different name. The names she chose were carefully selected, each with a background as fake as the passports she presented. She was a woman of many faces, each mask a story in itself. Hotel staff remembered her as a cultured lady, someone who spoke several languages fluently and had an unmistakable air of mystery about her. She was alone, but not lonely, a traveler with an unknown destination. Her suitcases were filled with personal belongings that raised more questions than they provided answers. Wigs, glasses, and clothing that suggested a chameleon-like ability to change. During her stay in Bergen, she often changed hotels, as if she was on the run or perhaps on the hunt. Her interactions with staff and other guests were polite but distant, her smile a mask that revealed little of the thoughts behind it. She made notes in an unrecognizable script, her pen an extension of the mysteries that enveloped her. Her final days were a sequence of movements through the city, seen through the eyes of witnesses who had no idea they were part of a much larger story. One day, dressed in a dark coat and with her suitcase in hand, she left her last hotel. She got into a taxi and disappeared from view, leaving the city behind for the solitude of Isdalen Valley. What drove her to leave the safety of the city for the desolate beauty of Isdalen remains a mystery. Was it the call of fate or the coercion of her pursuers that led her to that remote place? The answers seem buried under layers of time, just like the secrets she carried. Her story is a puzzle, pieced together from bits of a life that was carefully kept hidden. The Isdal Woman lives on in the shadows of the unknown, her history a whisper among the trees of Isdalen, her secrets as elusive as the mist that wraps around the valley. On a cold, misty day in November 1970, a time when autumn was exhaling its last breath and winter was making its entrance into Norway, a shocking discovery was made that would forever be etched into the memory of the city of Bergen. In the Isdalen Valley, a remote and gloomy area known to the locals as Death Valley, due to its grim history of accidents and suicides, a man, walking with his two young daughters through the area, stumbled upon the mutilated and burnt body of a woman. This discovery would form the basis for one of the most puzzling unsolved cases in Norwegian criminal history. The woman's body lay between the rocks, in an unnatural position with her arms in a defensive stance, as if she had tried to protect herself from the flames that consumed her. The scene was macabre and surreal, with remnants of charred papers and a strong smell of gasoline hanging in the cold air. Despite the severe burns that made her face and the front part of her body unrecognizable, there were some remarkable clues left behind. Jewelry that had curiously remained undamaged and placed next to her body, as if they were carefully laid down after her death. The police were immediately notified, and what followed was an extensive investigation that would baffle both local authorities and the international community. The woman's identity remained a mystery. Labels had been removed from her clothing, and items that could have identified her were carefully destroyed. Near her body, a series of items were found: a watch, a bottle of sleeping pills, a silver spoon with engraved initials, and a matchbox, indicating the preparation of someone who was facing her end. The autopsy revealed more puzzles than answers. The woman had a high concentration of sleeping pills in her stomach, but it was not enough to cause death. The cause of death was determined to be carbon monoxide poisoning, combined with the ingestion of sleeping pills and the effects of the fire. However, the question of whether it was suicide, an accident, or murder remained unanswered. In the weeks that followed, the police and detectives embarked on an international search for her identity, stumbling upon the mysterious suitcases she left in a train station locker. These suitcases contained a wealth of evidence: more false passports, men's clothing, wigs, and cryptic notes that revealed a complex travel schedule. This led to speculation that the woman might have been involved in espionage, a theory that only gained credibility in the context of the Cold War. The discovery of the Isdal Woman and the subsequent investigations plunged Virgin and the rest of the world into a deep mystery, a story of secrets and shadows that, decades later, still raises questions. Who was this woman? What brought her to the Isdalen Valley? And perhaps most disturbingly, who wanted her dead? The police investigation into the Isdal Woman, despite its thoroughness and international scope, remained shrouded in mystery and unsolved puzzles. From the moment her mutilated and burnt body was discovered in the gloomy, secluded Isdalen Valley, the investigators faced a series of challenges that made the investigation complex and fascinating. The initial police response at the crime scene was one of confusion and urgency. The woman's body, so severely burned as to be almost unrecognizable, lay in a posture that seemed to suggest she had tried to protect herself from the flames. The surroundings, with charred papers and the pungent smell of gasoline, pointed to a scenario that was both sinister and mysterious. Forensic experts were tasked with distilling some form of identity and cause of death from these ashes and burns. The autopsy revealed shocking details. The woman had carbon monoxide in her system, indicating suffocation, and her stomach contained a large amount of sleeping pills. Interestingly, there were no clear external injuries that could directly explain her death, leaving open the possibility of suicide, murder, or an accident. The quest for her identity quickly expanded beyond Norwegian borders. The police collaborated with international agencies, sending descriptions of the woman and details of the items found to police services around the world. This global network of information exchange was essential, given the clues that the woman had traveled extensively and possibly adopted multiple nationalities. A breakthrough came with the discovery of suitcases at a nearby train station, which were linked to the woman through fingerprints. These suitcases contained not only personal belongings such as clothing and wigs, but also cryptic notes that seemed to point to a complex travel itinerary. Forensic experts and cryptographers worked together to decode these notes, leading to the reconstruction of parts of her travels across Europe. However, the notes revealed more mysteries than answers, increasing speculation about her activities and identity. Despite the intensive efforts of the investigation team, many questions remained unanswered. Witnesses who may have seen the woman in the days before her death described her as reserved and cautious. Some reported that she seemed worried or fearful, fueling speculation about the circumstances leading to her death. The investigation team encountered multiple dead ends, each time they thought they had made a breakthrough. The trail led nowhere or disappeared into the complexity of international jurisdictions and Cold War politics. The mysterious death of the Isdal Woman has, over the years, given rise to a number of theories, ranging from espionage to personal tragedy. Each of these theories attempts to piece together the puzzle of her incomprehensible final days, relying on the scarce evidence and the context of the Cold War. Number 1. Espionage theory. Imagine a world where every movement is watched. Every identity could be a facade for something much larger. The Isdal Woman, with her multitude of passports and fluid identities, seemed to have stepped straight out of a spy novel. She traveled across Europe, her steps shrouded in riddles, as if she were dancing to the melodies of secret operations. Was she a pawn in a grand chess game of world powers, a shadow passing information between East and West? Her encoded notes, a mysterious symphony of locations and dates, suggest a life interwoven with secrets too dangerous to reveal. Number 2. Victim of crime. In another twist of the tale, the Isdal Woman could be the tragic centerpiece of a darker plot, one where her end was decided by the sinister forces of the underworld. Perhaps she accidentally crossed paths with a criminal organization, or came to know a secret that made her a target. The careful removal of her identity and the mysterious circumstances of her death could be the hallmark of a professional hit, the final act in a drama she never wished to play. Number 3. Personal tragedy. Or was her story one of inner demons, a battle against an unseen foe that ultimately became her undoing? Perhaps the Isdal Woman represents the ultimate tragedy of human existence, her death a somber poem of loss and despair. In this version of the story, the sleeping pills and the flames are not the means of a murderer, but the last escape of a broken soul, a final attempt to flee from an unbearable reality. Number 4. Secret identity or witness to a crime. And then there's the possibility that the Isdal Woman was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, an accidental witness to a crime that could not go unnoticed. Perhaps she carried knowledge of something powerful enough to silence her death a fatal necessity to guard a greater secret. In this version of the story, she is an unwilling heroine, whose only fault was stepping into the threshold of darkness. These are the stories that swirl around the Isdal Woman, each a possible key to unraveling the mystery of her life and death. But as with all good stories, the truth remains elusive, hidden behind a veil of time and unanswered questions. The only certainty is that the Isdal Woman has left an indelible mark on the annals of unsolved mysteries, her tale an eternal invitation to look further, to search, and perhaps one day to unveil the truth. In the age of modern technology, where every step we take and every word we utter can be traced and analyzed, the mystery of the Isdal Woman takes on a new dimension. The story, which has fascinated both professional researchers and amateur detectives for decades, has sparked a new wave of interest through the promise of contemporary forensic techniques. The DNA debate. With the advent of advanced DNA technologies, hope has been rekindled that the identity of the Isdal Woman can finally be unveiled. Researchers have made plans to compare DNA samples collected from her remains with international databases in hopes of finding relatives. This attempt, although complex, offers a potential path to answers that have been elusive for too long. Isotope analysis. Another fascinating approach is isotope analysis, which can decipher the chemical signature in her teeth and bones to learn more about her geographical origins and the regions where she lived in her final years. This technique can shed light on her movements, and perhaps even the reasons for her presence in Norway. Facial reconstruction. Advanced facial reconstruction techniques, supported by digital imaging and 3D modeling, provide another window into the mystery. By reconstructing her face, researchers hope that someone might recognize her, which could lead to new clues about her identity and her life before death. Public engagement. The ongoing interest in the case, fueled by documentaries and online discussion platforms, has mobilized a broad audience in the search for answers. Amateur detectives and enthusiasts bring forward new theories and share information that might have been overlooked, offering the authorities new angles to investigate. A double-edged sword. Yet, while technology offers new hope, it also brings challenges. The amount of time that has passed since her death may have compromised the DNA material, making it difficult to obtain usable results. Moreover, even with new clues about her origins or movements, the question of why her life ended in such a tragic manner may remain a mystery. The case of the Isdal Woman remains one of the most intriguing unsolved mysteries in true crime history. Despite new technologies and attempts to reopen the case, the identity of the woman and the circumstances surrounding her death remain enigmatic. As the shadows slowly reclaim this case once again, we are left with more questions than answers. But one thing is certain: the Isdal Woman has left her mark on the annals of true crime stories. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep searching, and who knows, perhaps you will unravel the next mystery.